Ano ang masasabi ninyo doon sa House Committee on Justice? How they
Si
handled?
Luistro pa ang chair. Isa pa yan. Dapat mag-resign yan eh. Grabe yan si Luistro. Grabe yan, pro-Martin, pro-BBN. May AX, TAX dahil sa speaker. May ganito, bilyon dahil sa speaker. Kulang lang sabihin, may ulan, may lindol, may baha dahil sa speaker eh. This is the same Congresswoman Luistro who admitted that she hid her husband who was accused of rape. He was accused of rape. Dapat nag-surrender siya. Tingnan mo si Revilla. Di ba nag-surrender siya? Eto, rape ha? Non-bailable. Sabi niya, sa akin yun ang tama eh. Anong klase abogada ka? Abogada ka? Dati ka pa daw fiscal? Accused of rape ang asawa mo, hindi mo pinasurrender? May dapat sa'yo ma-disbar, Congresswoman Luistro.
Lumalabas lagi yung fabricated cases of rape ng asawa ko. With the branding that tinago ko ang asawa ko,
Yes.
I evaded the law.
That's what's going around. That here you are holding people to account, and yet you told your husband to hide and not face these charges when they were filed against him. Talaga bang tinago niyo yung asawa niyo?
Yes. Tinago ko po ang asawa ko. It is because I needed to step back.
Pero ma'am, baka kasuhan kayo ni Congresswoman Luistro of slander right now or libel, destroying her
Congresswoman
reputation.
Luistro! Make my day.
Bago po ako magsalita, kinu-confirm ko lang po yung sinabi ni Representative Tino. Pero hindi lang po ako, marami kami na maraming congressman dito. Kasama doon, ayoko na lang sabihin kung sino. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Justice committed a grave abuse of discretion in dismissing the Lisa Massa et al. Impeachment complaint against President Marcos. It violated Section 5, Rule 3 of our own impeachment rules, which is very clear. Sufficiency in substance requires only a recital of facts and their nexus to an impeachable offense. Nothing more, no proof yet, no authentication yet, no trial yet. But what did the committee do? It conducted a mini trial. It imposed a higher unauthorized standard demanding personal culpability, sworn proof, and even evidentiary authentication at a stage where the rules do not require them. In doing so, the committee cut off the complainant's right to present evidence and testimony in the proper forum, which is the impeachment hearing. Kaya po hindi na present yung ebidensya. This does not just violate the rules, it undermines the very purpose of impeachment, which is public accountability. When Congress blocks the presentation of evidence, Congress blocks the search of truth. We have seen this pattern before. In the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Lacson himself revealed links involving the Bersamins. Yet, no full investigation followed. The truth was mentioned, then buried. Now we see it again in this House. In the ICI, key commissioners resigned because they knew the truth was being suppressed. When the institutions meant to investigate corruption are prevented from doing their job, resignation becomes a form of protest. And let us be clear, covering up the largest corruption scandal of our time will not protect the economy. It will weaken it. The poorest Filipinos, those already at the margins, will pay the price. At this point, we cannot expect genuine reform from the Marcos administration. They are not addressing the problem. They are only managing the fallout. There is no capacity for self-reflection, no appetite for real reform. The ICI became a talking point. The Independent Commission law became a talking point. The reform agenda became a talking point. The real goal is survival until the end of the term, not improvement, not reform, not accountability. Dribble here, slow roll there, cover up today, paper over tomorrow. The next 2 years will be directionless, marked by political deal-making to survive at the expense of the people and the economy. As 2028 approaches, the President faces only 3 paths. First, prepare to be prosecuted by his successor. Second, go into exile like his father. Or third, remain in power through chacha or extra-constitutional means, a frightening prospect. That is why I vote no on this committee report. The consequences of this mistake are enormous, not just for impeachment, but for democracy, the economy, and the future of the Filipino people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move
The Honorable Marcoletas, 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I timed the explanation of both of the Honorable De Lima, and it took her for 4 minutes and 2 seconds without interruption. May I be accorded the same privilege, Madam Speaker?
The gentleman has 2 minutes, and if you need more time, we will cross the
Request
bridge
for
when it
extension.
comes.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, isang makabuluhang hapon sa ating lahat. Ako po ay bumoboto ng no sa committee report na ito dahil sa pasya ng komite na gawing mahirap para sa ordinaryong mamamayan ang proseso ng impeachment. Ang kanilang pasya ay nagsilbing harang sa halip na mabigyang daan ang pagsagot sa hinaing ng maraming Pilipino laban sa pamumuno ng Pangulo na nagdudulot ng kawalan ng tiwala ng publiko. Ang proseso ng impeachment ay dapat manatiling abot kamay sa ating mga kababayan. Marahil ang isa sa mga pinakasagradong tungkulin ng pamahalaan ay ang magbigay ng patas at walang kinikilingang hustisya para sa lahat ng mga mamamayan nito. Hindi lamang ito kawalan ng panig o neutrality, kung hindi ito ay ang pagpanig sa hustisya mismo. At ang sawari ko'y tila paimbabaw na hustisyang mayroon tayo ngayon ay siyang pinaka-nakakabahala. Ibinasura ng komite ang mga impeachment complaint batay sa boto ng mga miyembro nito na insufficient in substance ang mga complaints. This sufficiency in substance requirement is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense, charge, and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Sa talakayan pa lang ng komite, hindi na magkasundo ang mga miyembro sa kahulugan ng recital of facts. Ang komite mismo ay hindi magkasundo sa definition ng ultimate facts na siyang mismong usapin sa pagdetermine ng sufficiency in substance. Ang mga nag-endorso ay nagpahayag na dapat ang mga facts, kung ito man ay maging totoo, kapag umabot sa paglilitis na sa impeachment court ay dapat na umayon sa reklamo laban sa impeachable officer. Unfortunately, this line drawn from the discussions reflected a difference in understanding among the members of the Committee on Justice. Mas mainam na sa impeachment court sa Senado, timbangin ang katotohanan at kabuuan ng ebidensya, hindi sa Justice Committee. Masyadong mataas ang requirement na hinihingi ng komite. Inahilin tulad ng komite sa isang legal proceeding ang paghahanap ng statement of facts. Ang naiwang tanong sa usaping ito ay kung in-apply nga ba ng komite ang tamang threshold o standard nung idineklarang hindi sufficient in substance ang mga complaints. Isinantabi ng komite ang mga complaints at kaakibat nito ay isinantabi nila ang pagiging political process ng impeachment na dapat bukas sa lahat sa mga abogado at hindi abogado. Ang pasya ng komite ay walang pagpapahalaga sa tawag ng ordinaryong mamamayan para sa pagpapanagot sa mga public officers. Colleagues, Article 11 of the Constitution vests in this House the solemn duty and the exclusive power to initiate impeachment. That power is not to protect any person. It is to protect the Republic. It is to ensure that when serious charges are pleaded with a factual recital, the constitutional process moves forward to the proper forum where truth can be tested with due process. Let us not adopt a dismissal built on the wrong threshold and let the constitutional process proceed in the matter the Constitution and our own rules command. With this, I vote no on this committee report. Maraming salamat po, Ginang Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Antonio Tino to explain his vote.
The Honorable Tino has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Maraming salamat. Madam Speaker, bumoto po tayo ng no dahil nakapaloob sa impeachment complaint na aming inendorso ang buong katotohanan na magtatai at magbibigay linaw kung bakit sa ilalim ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. nangyari ang pinakamalaganap, sistematiko at sentralisadong paglimas sa kaban ng bayan sa kasaysayan ng Republika mula nang mapatalsik ang diktador na si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. noong 1986 na naitala sa Guinness Book of World Records dahil sa ill-gotten wealth, following in the footsteps like father, like son. Ngunit hindi lang command responsibility o sin of omission ang kasalanan ng Pangulo. Direktang nag-utos siya ng at least 100 billion na insertion sa 2025 budget at tumanggap ng at least 8 billion na kickback. Saan ginamit ang pera? May bahaging napunta sa personal, ngunit ang kalakhan ginamit para sa eleksyon. Ito ang sekreto sa likod ng pagbaha ng pera sa panahon ng eleksyon. Pera ng taong bayan, ginawang kickback mula sa kontraktor, pinambili ng boto para manalo at umulit ang siklo. Ganyan mismo ang ginawa ni Pangulong Marcos. Ito ang pinakadirekta at masahol na pagtataksil ni Pangulong Marcos sa tiwala ng bayan. Si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang pinakamalaking isda sa flood control corruption scandal. Ginawa niyang command center ng organized plunder ang Malacanang. Inagaw niya ang pondo para sa kalusugan ng mamamayan para dalhin sa kickback ng iilan at direktang nag-utos ng 100 bilyong pisong insertion para tumanggap ng kickback. Malubhang pag-abuso ito sa kapangyarihan ng pagkapangulo at pagtaksil sa tiwalang ipinagkaloob sa kanya ng mga Pilipino. Kung hindi man ngayon, hindi matatakasan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang araw ng pananagot. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, in deference to the demise of former House Speaker Jose De Venecia Jr., I move that we adjourn session until tomorrow, February 11 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
An objection? Hearing none, session is adjourned until 3 o'clock tomorrow, February 11, 2026.